let's get our conversation on the road, everyone. Elections in this country have been very topical for discussion. As a matter of fact, at the turn of let's say what we now call just behind the 2023 general election, it has become even more of a serious discussion. And with this barrage, as I like to refer to them, of local government elections across this country, it has never even been more important to talk about elections in this country. I'm joined by James Ugochukwu, election analyst and good governance advocate, executive director, Alliance for Inclusive Development, also called Aid Africa, General Secretary, West Africa Civil Society Forum. To help us find sense in all of this, James, thank you for joining us on Good Morning.
Good morning, thanks for having me on the show.
Incidentally, you returned from Edo State not too long ago, where you also had come to monitor the election there. Time failed us to talk about all of those issues once you got back to Abuja. But what would you say are some issues that stuck out for not just you as an individual, but all of your colleagues who are in the civic space?
Well, there's nothing new that happened in Edo that we have not been seeing before. The only difference now that those people, they behave smarter this time around, and we didn't count ballot and count dead bodies. That is, for the first time, we didn't hear that anybody was killed.
That's good news.
And this is a very good news for us, and I think that should be sustained. Now, other things that stood out for us actually is looking at the way and manner the election was conducted, because we call that INEC, that election failed integrity test. Integrity test in the sense that before any election, we engage with INEC, and of course, we list out our expectation before the election. And these are the things that we'll be doing over and over again. And of course, when it starts happening, our duty is to tell INEC that, okay, you are doing well in this, you are not doing well in that. For the good ones, now let's start from the good ones before we go to the ones that didn't work out well. When it comes to the bimodal voter accreditation system, the BVAS machine, it worked optimally well this time around. And of course, the uploading of the result on the RF portal worked well, because the BVAS is used for both exercise. So in terms of the BVAS now, I think up to 97% of the polling unit that we visited, we had a very seamless functionality of the BVAS, especially in the area of facial authentication, because it uses fingerprints and facial. So the facial authentication was very, very optimal in terms of performance. And of course, even the upload of a result on the IRF, at the record time of, I think, 6:30 or so, we have about 95% of the results
already uploaded
on the IRF. So these are the good kudos or thumbs up for INEC. And on the flip side is the issue of logistics, as usual. We discover a situation where INEC on election day, where the whole road is locked down, there's no movement of people and all that, INEC cannot move materials from Oredo, Super Rack, to this polling unit within the Upper Palace and the Upper Market and all that, as at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. So these are things we keep on complaining. And by the time we went to Ogbe Primary School in Oredo there, which is a super rack, we saw a lot of INEC personnel, ad hoc staff, youth corps member and all that, waiting for materials to be moved to their different polling units. And one notable thing we saw was one single box or very few buses coming to convey these INEC officials to their different locations. And these are the things we keep on complaining, logistics, because the way election is that once logistics is affected at the onset, it affects the whole election value chain. It will dovetail to late arrival of materials, to dovetail to people coming out to vote and getting frustrated and going home, because people are performing their civic duties, even though some people sell their votes, and some people don't have that waiting power. So now, if the material didn't arrive on time, you see people waiting and they will leave, and that is a loss for whoever they wanted to support. Then it will lead to late conclusion of the poll, then the coalition would dovetail in the midnight, and the political party will start fighting. So we have always been, telling INEC that they need to work on their logistics. That is one of the weakest link in their election management.
That's interesting. Again, if what we're hearing coming out from Edo is anything to go by, it means the call by some people to say, look, we should allow INEC conduct local government elections, maybe something for the future.
At our interactive session with INEC chairman, I think around July or so, he said that INEC is prepared to conduct, or they are capable of conducting local government election. But the truth is, Section 197, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution established the State Independent Electoral Commission. So for INEC to come and conduct election, that means we need to amend that act to remove that particular clause. And of course, INEC that the people are already not having confidence in, bringing them to conduct local government election, what do we think is going to change? I think what we should be looking at is how to build the capacity of State Independent Electoral Commission to perform their duty. Because the way it is now, most of them have not conducted election for several years. This local government autonomy that the Supreme Court gave, that is making all of them now to start running helter-skelter to conduct elections. So the capacity of the State Independent Electoral Commission need to be built, from their chairman to the last person that is working there. Most of them are just there collecting salary. They don't actually know what it is to conduct election. So for me, this is my personal opinion though, I think State Independent Electoral Commission should be allowed to conduct local government election.
And you say they should empower them. That raises the concern around what exactly should be done for them to empower them. Rivers State has an election coming up shortly. The same thing for a state like Benue. Ogun is not different. We've seen a bunch of them conducted already, with the latest being Anambra State, for example. How do we empower them to be more effective with the party in power sweeping all the local governments in almost every other case?
It's twofold. One, we should look at the constitutional provision of the establishment of the local government, State Independent Electoral Commission. Section 198 stipulated what it takes, to have a State Independent Electoral Commission in place. But in that, you see the same problem we are having with the Independent Electoral Commission, the national. We are having a clause that says that the governor should appoint the chairperson of the State Independent Electoral Commission, and they are approved by the State Houses of Assembly. Now this is the snag, and that is the problem we are having with the INEC itself. It doesn't make any sense for the president to be appointing the INEC chairman. The same way, it doesn't make any sense for the governor to be appointing the State Independent Electoral Chairman, because the loyalty of that person will be in doubt. Even if the person is apolitical, is not aligned to any party and everything, people will be doubting the person based on the fact that yes, this person was single-handedly picked by the president. Towards 2023, I made a submission in one of my media engagements, not here though, that the appointment of the INEC chairman should be carried out by the National Judicial Council. They should, advertise it like any other vacancy, allow Nigerians to apply and let them go through screening, so that at the end of the day, whoever emerges will be beholden to nobody. Now, the State Independent Electoral Commission now, the chairman now, will be appointed by the governor and give it to the State Houses of Assembly member, which all of us know that in most states, the State Houses of Assembly members are in the pocket of the governor. It's whatever the governor tells them that they will do. The governor tells them to jump, they will ask, how high do you want us to jump? So is that the kind of system we want to run? So empowering these people is, first of all, their mode of appointment or the leadership recruitment to State Independent Electoral Commission. That's one point. The second point is the capacity building and training of these officials. So they need to be trained But anyway, we have the Electoral Institute in Abuja here. So these guys can be trained on conducting election day logistics and everything, because election is a complete discipline on its own and needs to be studied very well. So their capacity needs to be built so that on the election day, they should be able to go to the field and, of course, perform very well.
Today, the Punch newspaper has a story that is saying that, look, some governors are trying to be very smart with the implementation of the local government autonomy, which was granted by the Supreme Court sometime in July. That the idea is governors want to be able to collect allocation for the month of October and what have you. In the meantime, we also understand that the panel set up by the federal government to implement the LG autonomy is ready with his reports. Will likely present that reports on or before 13th of October, which is, of course, this month. Is local government autonomy all about money? Because that appears to be the only strand of the conversation we're having.
Well, when it comes to local government autonomy, I think we'll be raising the question if we should go the long haul.
What the long haul?
Good. The long haul now is that it should transcend beyond money. Because apparently now what the governors are just leading is that, okay, let us do this so that our allocation will not be seized. So if that is their mindset or their expectation, and of course if you cap it with the ugly fact that in most of these states the party in power wins all the local government seats down to the ward level, then we have a very big problem on our hand. So going the long haul now is first of all revisiting the 1999 constitution that established the local government system, and of course affirming the ruling of the Supreme Court and implementing it to the letter, which is to cut the umbilical cord that linked the local government system to the governors. Because even the NFIU Act of 2019 that was signed in July 2019, it gave the local government complete autonomy, separated the state's joint accounts. But most of these governors, they don't adhere to it. In fact, when they took this into the National Assembly passed it, both the State Senate and the House of Representatives, they took this into State House of Assembly, and the State House of Assembly kicked against it.
Right.
Why? Because these people were under the influence of the governors. So now, going the long haul, one is that we're looking at the allocation is one thing. We're looking at security. We're looking at who owns the education and the healthcare system, and other major things that constitute the local government system. So now for them to function very well, I think these state governments need to know where their boundary stops and where that of local government starts. And of course, they should allow the local government to receive their allocation directly from the government to execute what they need to execute to run the administration. Otherwise, the way it's going now that the state governors are jostling and taking over, capturing every local government council for their own party, it's a very ugly incident that I don't think is going to help us in our quest for a free and autonomous local government system.
If you look at a place like Edo State right now, of course, that story, development in Edo State has a very strong political elements. But beyond the fight between the governor of the state, Siminala Efubara, and his now estranged benefactor, Mr. Yeson Wike, what are the peculiarities of the local government issues in Rivers when you look at it against the backdrop of what you have in other states? There's the back and forth as to what register should be used. Meanwhile, there's a court order that says that the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission cannot use the 2023 register, and we understand INEC has withheld it and it's not making it available. What's the implication if they can't use that register?
Well, the implication now is that are going to have one of the most fraudulent elections in the Rivers State.
As it stands, right?
Yes, as it stands. Because if other states have been using 2023 register, because for crying out loud, does Rivers State have their own PVC or any form of identification for voters? So on what premise are they going to conduct the election if they cannot use the PVC that has been printed by INEC? And we cannot use INEC voter registers, or even the limitation of age and every one of the wars and all those things. So I think River is heading to chaos if care is not taken, and that court ruling should be challenged. If you ask me, the provision of the Constitution and the Electoral Act still gives INEC the power to do registration, do the capture of voters register, maintain the voter register, and of course transmit it to State Independent Electoral Commission when they want to use it for election. So I think if care is not taken, that is going to spell serious disaster during the election. They should allow people to come out, use their PVC, use the voter register, and let the voting continue, because the concern now is that are they now going to revert to option A4, or which option are they going to bring to the table this time? They are not depending on what INEC is going to use.
Right.
Most of these State Independent Electoral Commission are still going to get a machine and all that from INEC, the beavers and the like. They're going to get all those ones. So if they're going to use beavers that use it for authentication and voter accreditation, and use it for, maybe they want to upload it and all those things, then if we ride on that judgment, that means they are not going to use all that. So what option is River State going to use? So I think that particular ruling, I don't understand why it came the way it is. I think it's not sounding good, actually.
When I talk to people about local government autonomy in Nigeria, they express the fear that there's still the chance that governors can, if you like, still have a stranglehold on local government system in this country, for the singular fact that they are able to, in one way or another, determine who becomes the chairman of a local government across all the local governments in their states, whether or not there is autonomy granted to the local governments in this country. Is that your sentiment as a civil society person?
It's already happening. It's already happening. Check any state. Once there is election there,
right,
the ruling party wins all the local government seats. In fact, there are allegations that most of these results are computed in the government house. They will just go there, fill the result sheet, do a kangaroo election, and that's it. I watched some video online where in Imo, where you see massive thumb printing and stuffing of ballot boxes, things that we have done away with in the past. So it's already happening. When in Anambra, Abga won all the local government, in Enugu, PDP won all the local government, in Imo, APC won all the local governments, I think in Lagos. So you see that what these people are doing now is that they are rescinding in the gains we have made in our democratic setting, because what they are doing is not democracy. Because the beauty of democracy is checks and balance.
Right.
So what we have now is balance. There's no check. Because the situation where we have all the local government chairmen from the same party, then nobody is going to question what the governor is going to do. And we have the State House of Assembly under the pocket of the governor. Nobody is going to question what the governor is doing. So it doesn't sound well for our democracy, and I think it's something that Nigerians should start questioning. Because at the end of the day, what this will be leading to now is the voters' apathy. Because when people now know that, okay, the election, the state election is a charade, that if they come out, their vote will not count, or they will not even vote at all, then what's the point? They will just collect PVC to use it for biometric in banks and all that, not for voting. And that is not a democracy, because democracy is a government of the people, for the people, by the people. So what they are doing in most states is executivocracy, or if I call it that way, government by the executive. So that's how it is.
It's interesting, but then we're taking a quick break now, everyone, on the program, so that we can come back shortly to take a look at a few more concerns regarding grassroots governance in this country, how issues around autonomy and election pose very serious headwinds, and ways in which practical solutions can be provided to these problems. Do stay with us. Well, let's stretch the conversation further, everyone. James, let's talk about bodies like NULGE, NULGE, the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees, and then, of course, you have the ALGON, Association of Local Governments of Nigeria. And then, of course, you have the Nigeria Labour Congress, and so on and so forth. What should be their role in ensuring that local governments become more functional, aggressively driving development at the grassroots, particularly in light of these Supreme Court judgments?
Well, I think one of the big gains of the Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration is the granting of local government autonomy, because it's a cut that nobody has been able to have the boss to, bear all this while. And of course, the Constitution made provision for local government as a third tier of government, and the idea is simple: to get development closer to the people. But you see that it's like a rain that is falling towards the local government and the state government. They will hang it and it will not get to them. Of course, if we have all these bodies you've mentioned, NULGE, ALGON, and other ones that we are here to know, I think it's a serious civic duty on their part to ensure that they use their power to wrestle this authority from the state government to the local government chairman, because if that is not done, the essence of the Supreme Court judgment will be defeated, because the allocation will end up with the state government as usual. They will give it to the local government chairman. If they like your face, they give you some. If they don't like your face, they will seize your allocation. The internally generated revenue will still be remitting it to the state government, and of course the development at the grassroots will be left unattended to. So now the bodies we have mentioned now, they can go about this thing through serious policy advocacy, through protest if need be, through strike if this state government don't allow them to breathe the way they're supposed to be. So power should return to the local government level, and then the people feel the impact of democracy, because as it is now, most local government chairmen now, most of them, they live in Abuja. They just appoint them, they come to Abuja, they stay in a fine hotel, they stay there as long as they like. Can never go to the local government and meet the local government chairman. It's always in Abuja. What he's doing in Abuja, I don't know. Why? Because the person is actually don't have anything to do in the state local government. The funds are not there. He doesn't have access to fund. Needs approval from the governor to do one or two things. But by the time this autonomy is fully granted to the people, to the local government chairman, then you will now see that the people can now directly go to the local government and hold them accountable. Then this is where the NULGE, ALGON, and the rest will come in. They should now be able to build the capacity of trade union groups, traditional and religious institutions, youth group, women group within the local government to hold their local government accountable, both the local government chairman, both the local government councillor, so that any revenue that is being generated within that local government will be made accountable to the people, because that is not existing as it is. Because as we speak now, most people don't even know the name of their local government chairman. Most people don't even know the budget of their local government. They've not even seen it, talk more of reading it. So this is exactly what the politicians like. They will divert their attention to Tinubu. That is your problem. All the allocation they are giving to the states and the local government, who is accounting for it? Nobody is accounting for it. So this is the status quo these governors want to maintain. And of course, ALGON, NULGE, and all this, they should stand up and fight against this absolute control.
Absolute control indeed. You've talked about helping all of these, the workers at the grassroots, those who drive the local government system to its capacity. And you say these bodies have very vital role to play in that regard. But the people, members of the public, those who are supposed to be beneficiaries of these developments at the grassroots level, seem to be very disconnected. For example, like you rightly mentioned, there are people who do not know the name of their local government chairman, even when they reside in that local government. They have no idea how much local government gets as allocation, how much it realizes as IGR, whether on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. When we say hold your leaders accountable, hold political office holders accountable, you've got to have the facts, you've got to be familiar with the figures and follow the development to be able to follow the money. How do we get the people to be very enlightened, politically conscious enough to pursue this sort of monitoring?
Yes, I think it's a multi-stakeholder affair in the sense that there are a lot of give and take from it. For instance, now, some couple of weeks back, or was it last week now, there's this news everywhere that the president wants to sack some of his ministers because they are not using the media enough to communicate the gains of his administration. Now, I read that statement very well. Now, the question we're asking is, for the people to feel the impact of the government, they should be able to know what is happening or how to go about it. And that is where the work of the National Orientation Agency comes into play. National Orientation Agency have branches all over the local government. It's one of the well-penetrated government agency. So that is where their work should come into play, to go and sensitize people at the grassroots that they look, this is a local government budget. Because if an individual go to the local government chairman office and say, I need the budget, the local government chairman will not listen to him. But if National Orientation Agency say, give us your budget, they can never question that, right? So when the budget is available, let the NOA upload it in on their website. So you click your state, click your local government, click the budget to be able to see the budget. Then they should make the local government to open up their accounting system, their financial system. And that is where the work of supplementary work of the what we call the civil society comes to play now through open governance partnership that we have been doing. We're doing it across at a state level now. I think it's time now to put it down to local government level. So when they have open governance partnership, we're able to know how much is this local government generating, what is it being used for. All we ask for is transparency. It's our money. Okay, we'll go and meet a village woman in the market store selling vegetable that the total capital of that business is not up to 100,000. You collect, you give the person ticket, he will pay. Next market day you come. The market days that are daily, you'll be collecting it on a daily. People just have to know what their money is being used for. Not that the money will be collected and it will leak into one big man or political store pocket. So this is where the National Orientation Agency to come into play. And of course, it can even be an executive order from the president say, look, every local government should display their budget for everybody to see. Because if the president can go to National Assembly and present the appropriation bill, then there should be that level of transparency at the local government level. Prepare the budget. In fact, the budget should not even be prepared by the local government alone. There should be inclusivity. Because that's the essence of democracy, participation and inclusion. So people should be able to come and articulate their own need. So market women can say, okay, this particular section of the market needs to be tarred, or the roof of this particular side is leaking, put it in the budget. We need road in so place, put it in the budget. In so hospital in this ward, we don't have drugs, put it in the budget. Not that we just sit in the local government, call one accountant and they will photocopy last year's budget at that just figure and you call it a budget. It should be participatory. And that is when NOLGE, ALGON, NOA, all of them should align and join forces and ensure that the people are enlightened to know what they're supposed to know.
The panel that has been set up by the federal government, which is very, people say, all-inclusive, of course, state governments, local governments, even civil society represented there, all right, headed by, again, the Secretary of the Government of the Federation. It also has ministers there, finance and budget as part of the panel. That panel, we understand, in a matter of days, will submit its reports. First, do you think that panel has done a great work so far? I mean, because we've not heard much about what their deliberations have been about, but that report will be submitted in a matter of time, shortly. What are your expectations in that regard?
Well, it boils down to what we are saying, or maybe I'm wrong. I've actually not seen the activity of those panels that have been set up, because a panel of that nature should be something that we have. Should be in public space. For public space, one, and then of course there should be updates on whatever they are doing. So our expectation is that they should, at least to a very large extent, strengthen the content of the ruling of the Supreme Court to ensure that each and every section of that ruling is implemented to the letter. So we'll be expecting a roadmap from them, a work plan, a framework that every local government can, key into across board, and of course, recommendation for some executive orders, as I just said, because I know how these governors behave. They will pass everything. When it gets to the state, it's okay. The federal government are done doing their own. Okay, this is the state. Let us see how you are going to do it. So they should go as far as recommending that any state government that stop fund from going to the local government should have their own allocation seized the next moment. So unless they take that kind of drastic measure, they will still be playing games with us.
There are people who are arguing, saying that local government autonomy or not, regardless of the Supreme Court judgments, that governors are still going to use backdoor to, as it were, suck resources from local government, particularly as it has to do with your IGRO and the monthly allocation. Others say, well, that won't be a problem much because local government chairmen do not have immunity clause covering them. And as such, if they run foul of the law regarding financial misappropriation and impropriety of any kind, the FCC and other relevant law enforcement agencies of the government will come for them. But should that happen, whether they get prosecuted or not, does that not further plunge the local government system into the abyss?
Well, the thing is, this is where holding them accountable comes into play, because now that they don't have immunity, these guys are very creative when it comes to manipulating things. So you will see them there sitting very pretty well, and of course diverting local government fund. And of course, when they say they don't have immunity clause, I think there should be provision for protection so that they will be allowed to do their work. And of course, at the same time, they won't be dragging them when they are still working. I don't know if I'm getting my point now. Because a situation whereby they don't allow them to work, maybe the opposition party is just using the court and the AFCC and everything to be distracting them. It could be a blackmail that, okay, if you don't do this, if you don't give me so amount of money, I'll call AFCC and all those things. So the immunity clause should have a balance. They should be allowed to work, and where there's concrete evidence that they are running foul of the law, diverting money out, I think they should be picked up and prosecuted accordingly. And of course, protecting them from the state governors. That one should be a provision of the law, extant law, guidelines, framework, and all that, executive orders. They can do that. And of course, doing that now could include, as I said before, seizing state government allocation. Obasanjo once did it in 1999.
In Edo State.
Yes, when this president, current president was governor, he seized the allocation for most. You understand? So the president should have that kind of executive order, because if this is not done, we'll still be crying. I always have this opinion, and I'm strongly persuaded that development is local. If your local government is developed, mine is developed, the other person is developed, we won't be complaining. All of us will not be coming to Abuja to think for greener pasture and all that. So if local government is developed across board, of course the whole country will be developed.
Lastly, let's talk about political parties and what their role should be in developing local government. It will appear in Nigeria, political parties are more focused on conducting elections, determining who the money bags are, so they're able to figure out who to give their tickets to. We've seen that happen since 1999. What should be, ideally, the specific rules, or if you like, the contribution of political parties towards ensuring that local government system in this country is strengthened?
I think the political parties should work on their ideological laziness, because we don't have political parties with strong ideology. So that's why you see that each time you see somebody is in party A, the next day move to the party B, the next day move to party C, next time move to party A that he left. So we have politicians that they play politics of convenience. Now, the people that comes to vote and all that, you are the end beneficiary of whatever they do. So now let's assume the ruling party is there in the states. You as a politician party, what do? You start organizing programs, enlightening the people, empowering the people, so that in the next election they should be able to look at a non-performing ruling party and say, we are not voting for you, we are voting for the other opposition party, because they have been empowering us. I think they can empower us before they get to power. That means if they get to power, they are going to do more. So these are the things we are going to be looking at, because the political party as it is now, they only prepare for election after election. As we speak now, they're already talking about 2027. So I call that ideological laziness, because the question you're asking yourself is, all the manifesto you laid down during your campaign, all the promises and everything, I think once you are sworn in, you should be pursuing that first instead of talking about the next election. So that ideological laziness should be discouraged by the political party, and of course they should work towards mobilizing the people to align with them, irrespective whether they are ruling party or not. That's the only way you can unseat a ruling party. APC did that in 2014 and they got the ticket in 2015. They look at the way the PDP were running their government and they pick holes from what they are not doing well, fuel subsidy, whatever, the refinery is not working and all that. And they sold that idea to the people that, look, if we get into power, we are going to reduce fuel price to 50 naira per liter, and we are going to give you refinery and all that. And of course, this is 9 years post that. Fuel price has increased more than before. Refineries are not working. In fact, all of us are celebrating one single refinery after having four that we cannot maintain. So these are the things that opposition party, both at the federal government and the state level, should be telling the people, say, look, these people, are they working the way they're supposed to work? They should be challenging the ruling party. Are you working the way you are going to, you promise to work? Your manifesto 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 10. You have not implemented this, you have not implemented that. That's why the rules political parties should be playing. Not if your party lost election, right, you go and seek for political appointment with the ruling party and all that. We should have political ideology in this country, and that's the only way our democracy can be strengthened.
James Ugochukwu, thank you for coming to share with us this morning. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, welcome.
Just for the records, James Ugochukwu is the Executive Director, Alliance for Inclusive Development Africa, also called Aid Africa. Is an election analyst and good governance advocate. We're taking a break now. When we return, it will be that point where we'll draw the curtain on the show. To stay with us, everyone.